Problems in the timeline of Moses in Surah 4:153-155. Surah 4:153. The people of the scripture challenge you to bring down to them a book from the sky. They had asked Moses for something even greater. They said, "Show us Allah plainly." The thunderbolt struck them for their wickedness. Then they took the calf for worship, even after the clear proofs had come to them. Yet we pardoned that, and we gave Moses a clear authority. Tafsir Al Jalalayn. So the thunderbolt, death, seized them, as punishment for them, for their evildoing, when they harassed him Moses with this demand. They then took to themselves the golden calf, for a god. Surah 4:154. And we raised the mount above them in accordance with their covenant, and we said to them, "Enter the gate humbly," and we said to them, "Do not violate the Sabbath," and we received from them a solemn pledge. Surah 4:155. Then for their violation of their covenant, and their denial of Allah's revelations, and their killing of the prophets unjustly, and their saying, "Our minds are closed." In fact, Allah has sealed them for their disbelief, so they do not believe, except for a few. Corpus Quran, 4:155:1, Fabama, then because of. Bab Law Dictionary, and, thereafter, afterwards as expected, then. Surah 4:153-155 are in the same timeline because 1. The word and then is used for continuation. 2. The word mount is used in verse 154, and that could only mean it is in the time of Moses. 3. It also said, "And we raise the mount above them" in verse 154. 4. Same word covenant is used in verse 154 and 155. 5. In verse 155, the word then is used, and it could only mean that it is for the continuation from verse 154. Then they violated the covenant. 6. The word them is used in all the three verses. 7. No mention or indication of a different timeline in these verses. Problems with verse 155. 1. Who are the prophets that they killed in the time of Moses? 2. There were only two prophets, Moses and Aaron, and they killed neither of them. 3. How can they violate the covenant in verse 155 when they were struck by the thunderbolt in verse 153? 4. How can they kill the prophets in verse 155 when they were already struck by the thunderbolt in verse 153? Problems with verse 153. 1. If the thunderbolt struck them, they would be death, and then they could not have taken the calf to worship it. But why did Allah said then they took the calf after striking them with thunderbolt? 2. Why did Allah forgive them when He said no forgiveness for those who ascribe partners to Allah? Surah 4:48. 3. What clear proofs had come to them? 4. Allah strike them with thunderbolt and they are death, and Allah can still say He forgive them. 5. What's wrong for asking to see God? Is asking wickedness?